Hello, world. We are back. Welcome back to the Wanderers Guild. Uh, we are back for session 2 of Blades in the Dark. Um, it's been almost 2 months since we played, I think. And we had a lot of technical issues last time while we were doing character creation. So hopefully this will be a lot more smooth and watchable. Uh, we I'll let Craig do the story intro here where we left off. We left off in a very dramatic cliffhanger. Thank you, Craig, for coming back and running another session for us. Uh, Everybody go check out Third Floor Wars. Craig runs lots of RPG stuff, and it's all awesome. He has a great
Third
channel, so...
Floor Wars.
Ooh, clip
Very
that.
nice, Adam. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been way too long since we have been in Duskfall with the four of you. Real quick, let's talk about who we are and where we are. So we've got 4 characters that were made in session 1. We've got Elizabeth, who Amy is playing. Elizabeth is in a lurk. We've got Stella, played by Hank, who is our cutter. We've got Yashka, played by Adam, who is our spider. And then we've got Lasim, our whisper, played by Josh. Now, the 4 of you decided to be shadows. You're the Unspoken. And going through and looking at part of the character creation, we kind of established some relationships. And these are relationships with different factions in Duskfall. So right now you have a +1 relationship with the Red Sashes, as well as the Hive. But you've acquired -1 relationships with the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, Ulf Ironborn, as well as the Billhooks. So, when you decided to say, let's go do some criming, why not do it with somebody against somebody who is several tiers higher than you, and is also you already have a -1 with? You decided to go after the church itself. In Brightstone, in your hunting grounds, you decided, let's go into the sanctorium of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. Let's get into the vault. Let's steal something that's going to be worth a ton of coin, and let's get out of there. We want to be unspoken and unseen. So we started play with you being near the sanctorium and encountering some bluecoats, which, thanks to Yashka, we got rid of. Then we allowed our whisper to do what whispers do. So our whisper got a hint.
What whispers do worst.
From Satara, who is their demon friend. Satara kind of explained, hey, what you can do if you want to get into the vault, because this place is locked down, is go where space and time means nothing. Go into the ghost field. So Lasim attuned, opened a door into the ghost field, had you walk through a time and a place where the walls and the doors weren't there yet. And we ended rolling to see how the attunement went. You're in the ghost field and you failed the attune roll. So we know Lasim is familiar with the ghost field. He spends time there. And I would imagine for the 3 of you, you've spent time in the ghost field as well. Let's assume that this is not the first time that Lasim has used the ghost field to transport each of you at certain points in times from one place to another or one time to another. I'd like to get a description from each of you. We'll start with you, Amy. Amy, what is it about being in the ghost field that makes you feel uneasy?
It's just, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's mental, if it's physical, but it's just always kind of cold. It's like I can never get warm, and it really just kind of reminds me of growing up on the streets. I don't like it. I don't like the insecurity. I like what is practiced and rehearsed.
How about for you, Hank? When you're in the ghost field, you always seem to catch something out of the corner of your eye, but when you turn, it's never there. What is it?
It's it's like a young child, I think. A small figure. Looks oddly familiar, but I can never get a good look.
Now, Adam, surprising for Yashka, there's actually something that Yashka really likes about this process. There's a lot of things Yashka doesn't like, but what's the one thing that Yashka likes about being in the ghost field?
This is this speaks to the shallow side of her. But God, does she love the way it makes her glisten? She knows she's irresistible already, but when she's in the ghost field, damn man, she shines.
Now, Lasim, you're in the ghost field once again. And what was different this time versus the previous time? How do you know that this attunement did not go well? What do you see in the ghost field that tells you that?
I am hearing whispers from my ancestors telling me that I've fucked it up.
Shame.
Now,
We never should have trusted him.
Lasim directs and pushes the other three of you towards a door in the ghost field. And that door opens. And it pulls you back into reality. Back into a place where there is a place. And back into a time where there is time. Now the hope is that would be the vault. That you would be inside the vault of the Sanctorium. But this does not look like a vault. The four of you look around, and you're in a much smaller room than you anticipated. It can't be more than 15 by 15 feet. And there are robes hanging on hooks on all of the different walls. Everything is that pure, almost untainted white that the Ecstasy of the Flesh Church prides itself on. Those robes are ceremonial robes. And there is one door. Everything tells you that this is not the vault. Did we end up in the closet?
Everyone, I'm not sure why there's all these robes here. Surely this isn't what we came here for. Where are we? Lasim, what did you do?
It's all under control, all part of the normal process.
Ah. Hi.
Do you think this one looks like it'll fit me?
Yes. It's fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna start trying to squeeze it over my head.
I was simply slightly misled about the layout of this place. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get where we need to go.
Does anyone have a map?
You may want to speak a little more softly.
Real quick. So we need to take care of this failure. So not only did we end up in the wrong place, but as you turn to look at Lasim, you start to see Lasim's eyes bleed.
Ah.
So blood like tears out of all four corners of his two eyes.
Perfectly normal. Under control.
So Lasim, this is going to be a level 1 harm. So you're going to add a level 1 harm, which is bleeding eyes. But there's a mechanic. If you don't like that, you have the ability to resist it. So all you have to say to me is, Craig, I resist that. And suddenly, your eyes aren't bleeding. That never happened in the fiction. But you take 6 stress. But you can reduce that with a roll. So what I will do is I will pick an attribute that makes sense for me for you to resist it. And whatever you roll on that will subtract from the 6, and that's how much stress you have. So do you want to take the harm, or do you want to try to resist it and potentially get up to 6 stress?
What are the game effects of bleeding eyes?
That'll be a completely narrative, but once you get 2 level 1 harm, you're at -1 die for everything. When you get to level, then you upgrade to level 2 harm, and things get progressively worse.
Okay. So if I take the bleeding eyes, then for now I'm taking -1 die to things.
No, you'd have to get a second level 1 harm.
I would have to get a second level 1 harm.
Okay, that's why there's 2 slots on the thing.
Exactly.
Got it.
I think I'm gonna take the bleeding eyes. It's cool, and I don't want to be talking to any people like I'm a normal inhabitant anyway. So I'll just I'll look gnarly and be on my way to Harmtown for now.
Elizabeth, as you're kind of getting your bearings, and I would imagine as a lurk, that's the first thing you're going to do is, where are we? What is the situation, right? It's hard to tell who or how many, but there is some buddies on the other side of that door and they're making a lot of noise. You can't tell if it's a conversation or chanting or an argument, but there's some activity on the other side of the door.
I am going to just press my ear to the door, and if I can't hear anything, then just as gingerly and gently as possible, I'm gonna crack it open, if for no other reason than just to get a better hear. Maybe someone didn't shut the door all the way. Maybe the wind kind of picked it up. Just the barest of cracks to get an idea of how close people are to us.
And this is kind of a swinging door. It doesn't have a handle on it or anything. So you lightly push on the door. And once you can see the crack of the next room, once you kind of break the door jamb, right, just barely, immediately the sound is much clearer. And it sounds like a synchronized chant of some sort. Almost a sing-song. Your guess is there's at least 5 voices. It could be twice that. It's really hard to tell. What little sliver you can see, you can tell that the next room is considerably larger than the closet you're in right now. Everything is, again, pure white, as you would expect being in the sanctorium. But you can't see anybody from the angle where you are. What is Layson, Yashka, and Stella doing?
I think Yashka is getting one of the robes and seeing if she can make it fit her in a more luxurious way.
Yeah, no problem finding your size, and they have a hood on them, so you could put the robe on. It would cover you from neck all the way down.
Oh yeah.
And you could put the hood on and obscure part of your face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she does that. She turns to Stella and she goes, "What do you think? Is that good? I think it looks good."
I think it looks great.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I can't tell if I'm close or not. Does this one fit me? I'm already got a robe on. I'm gonna do a full turn.
Hold on, darling. And I just kind of I zhuzh it up your arms a little bit, just so it's not like bulging too much and it looks good. And then I want to go over to Elizabeth and she'll be like, "What do you see out there?"
What do I see? Nothing. What do I hear? Probably trouble.
Does it sound like a big room out there, or is it like a hallway or a small room? Because I might have some plans that I can look at and figure out where we are.
It's kind of a big room. Not gonna lie. It's definitely not a hallway, which would be more convenient.
Huh.
I might have something in my backpack that will help, but it'll probably draw attention to the fact that someone's inside. I don't know. What do you have any ideas before I start doing crazy stuff?
Darling, of course I do. I brought blueprints for this place.
I am not. I'm not keen on the action part of these operations, and I'm very shaken up by what happened. So I'm suiting up to conceal myself. Did you say there's a robe for me as well?
Yep, there's more
Okay.
than enough robes around.
I will pull a robe up and pull the hood up, and I'm going to try in general to keep my back turned and to only look at my compatriots for cues about what's going on, while avoiding letting anybody see my face with my bleeding eyes. And I am stuffing my hands down under the robes to try to stop them visibly shaking. And I'm just trying to keep my head down and watch what happens. And I'm following behind them from a distance.
What's Stella doing? Just spin. Oh, that's right. You told me you were spinning around and,
Yeah,
and
I did the
getting sized by
full-
Stella.
The full twirl, getting Yashka to get me a robe that fits, because I'm assuming I'm maybe just a little bit, bulkier than your average cultist, being a dock worker and practicing accents. I'm trying to decide which way I want to go is way I sound, because talking like a dock worker doesn't exactly make me sound like I need to be here in a cult.
Nice.
So, Yashka, you mentioned blueprints. Talk to me.
Well, she wasn't sure that she would need these. The plan was to get straight into the vault, but she didn't pack her big load bag or even her medium load bag. She came here to fit in. And one of the things she brought with her was just a folio of useful architectural drawings.
Very nice. So you're gonna mark that on your loadout. Thank God Yashka's here. She always has the right thing at the right time. Yashka, you pull out those blueprints. You kind of go to the page real quick where the vault is, and there's nothing on this floor that would fit where you are. So you go to the next floor down. Man, nothing with a big room and like a smaller closet room.
Where are we?
2 more pages down, you realize you are at least 4 levels below. And unlike the other rooms in these blueprints that were clearly labeled, you figure out where you are, but the big room that's attached is the only room in the entire set of blueprints that it has no reference or label to it.
Well, I have good news is that I know we're about 4 floors beneath ground. The bad news is I have no idea what's outside that door. And I
don't know
usually
that
know
I-
everything.
I don't know that I qualify that as good news. I'm very good at jumping from high places. There's not a lot I can do underground.
Yeah, I can see the problem there.
Is a
What should we
tune?
do?
Also,
Would a tune potentially be useful here to try to gather information about my surroundings?
So remember, with Blades in the Dark, you just tell me what you're doing. If I think there's a role, if there's an obstacle that prevents you doing what you want to do, then I'll tell you, and then we'll figure out whether we'll be rolling or not. So what are you trying to do?
I'm gonna step back into the closet, just back up into the closet, and then go in a dark corner and try to attune and see if I can contact any spirits nearby to try to find out anything about, let's say, this floor that we're on.
So it sounds to me like you're trying to connect with the spirit world and see if there's
Yeah.
a
See if I
spirit
can.
near here or
Mhm.
something that can give you a little bit more information about where the hell you ended up.
Yeah.
All right.
Context.
So the goal is that you are going to figure out exactly where you are, and now to a certain degree you already know where you are,
Mhm.
right? So luckily Yashka figured that out. Maybe try to figure out what's on the other side of that door.
Yeah, I would like to know things like if there's threats nearby, if there's any sort of major supernatural disturbance nearby that we should be aware of, or just I want to scan for context by trying to contact the spirit realm.
All right.
See
So
what I can learn.
for this action, our goal is to figure out what's on the other side of that door.
Sure.
And what does it mean to us, right? Is it what's potential threat? What's the situation? We're going to do that by trying to connect with one or more spirits. So we're going to do an action roll. So open up your character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally, I would ask you, what action are you going to take to do this? Sounds like you've already decided you're going to attune.
Mm-hmm.
So with an attune, I need to give you or with any action, I'm going to give you your position and the effect. The position is how dangerous is the situation right now that you're in, and then the effect is how effective will this be? So in my mind, you guys are in this small closet. We know that Elizabeth was able to crack the door a little bit to be able to get some information and close it, and nobody said anything. So I think we're in a controlled position. We're not, nobody seems to be trying to get in here. You're not being chased. There doesn't seem to be a timer going. So let's say the position is controlled. What's difficult is the effect, because one of the things that the Ecstasy of the Flesh does is they pull spirits and store them in bottles. What they do with them, nobody knows. So I think it's going to be limited effect because of where you are. I think if you were anywhere else, you would have a much better chance of not only getting a spirit, but getting a spirit that probably knows something. So we're going to say limited effect. Now, got a couple options here. You can, how many dots do you have in a tune?
2.
2. So you're going to roll 2 dice. We're going to take the better of the 2. On a 1 to 3, you fail. On a 4 to 5, you succeed, but there'll be a consequence. And on a 6, you succeed. If you roll 2 6s, that's a crit. You can take 2 stress, and get an extra die. You can take a devil's bargain to get an extra die. You can trade position for effect. Your effect is limited, but your position's controlled. So you could go to a risky position and take that limited and go to a standard effect. You've got all kinds of options. You could do a flashback. What are we going to do?
I don't
Or
want
you
to
just roll.
trade. I don't want to trade position for effect, because if I fail to get any information, that's okay. But if I majorly blow our cover, it's catastrophic. So I'm going to keep that as is. And the taking stress to get extra dice, that's done in advance of the roll.
That is. So you would take 2 stress and you will get an extra die. It's called pushing yourself.
I don't think I want to do that either. I think this is just like a low-key try it out attune and see what happens.
So we see you skulk off into the corner. And once
What?
again, trying to attune. Now, this, unlike you're not trying to go into the ghost field. And we already learned what happens when Lasim tries to go into the ghost field, right?
Never again.
We learned that there's some sort of destruction ritual that Lasim needs to do in order to enter the ghost field. When you are just trying to attune with spirits, what does that look like?
Like meditation, but maybe weird stuff happens around me. So that's why I tucked myself away.
Let's go ahead and roll.
All
So
right.
go to your character sheet, click on attune.
Yep.
Your position is going to be you're gonna set your
Controlled.
position in effect, controlled and limited.
Limited. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, that's just... I'm just going to stop playing. I don't need to be here.
Oh my God.
The less I participate, the better we're going to do.
You rolled 2 2s, which is a failure.
Yeah.
Um,
You falter, press on by seizing...
yeah, so
others.
you have because you're in a controlled situation, what you can do is pull back and say, yeah, this is not going well. This is not going well. I'm going to stop this right now. Or you can push yourself to get into but you'll be in a risky position and you can try again.
Okay. I'm just going to turn to my allies and say, the spirits are silent. This is a cold and desolate place.
That's
In the
okay.
spirit
You've had
realm.
a hard day. It's not been easy so far. We'll figure something else out, right?
This is a cold
Everyone?
and desolate place. This is a cold and desolate place. Ah, you sound so fancy. I just can't work it out.
What? Is
Why
it?
don't you all go look around?
That's a good idea. I can do it proud. Does anyone want to come with me?
Yeah, I'm up for it. But let's grab one of these robes. I don't know.
I already knew what you need. Here you go.
I do have one in
look at
Prowl,
you.
but I have blood on my face, so maybe I'm going to not do that unless you really need me to.
I've got 2 in Prowl.
Me too. Let's go proud.
Let's do it, sister.
I don't. I'll push the door open.
Bonk!
So Stella pushes the door open. We see Elizabeth and Yashka, getting all sneaky, kind of hunching down and going, and Stella goes. The door flies open. Now let's talk about what they see. What they see are 3 people come throwing open the door of the dress closet in ceremonial robes, with a 4th that kind of far in the back. That's what they see. What you see is a circle of maybe a dozen people, all in the same types of robes you're wearing. And they're in a central part of this room, in a circle. The walls are lined with bottles. And Lasim, you recognize those. Those are spirit bottles. Those are bottles that can capture and hold ghosts. At the head, at 12 o'clock of this circle, there's a person in far more adorned robes, has a kind of a scarf adornment around his neck. He's the only one with his hood off. Perfectly clean, bald head. Not a 4 head, a 5 head. Big old big old forehead, big bushy eyebrows. 3 of you have no idea who this is. 1 of you knows exactly who this is. So, Wasim, that's Preceptor Dunville, second in command of the church. A very, very dangerous man.
Preceptor or perceptor?
He's the preceptor.
Preceptor Dunville.
Yep, Dunville. Now, that's the circle of about a dozen people, all in hooded robes. We've got Dunville at the head of this circle. But the most striking thing is the body floating in the center of this circle, just above eye level of everybody at the circle. The man is naked, and it looks like someone's tied a rope around his torso and has pulled him up, but there's no rope. The body is just there like this. And you're starting to see kind of a greenish blue smoke start to come out of any opening. So we start to see it bleed out of this man's eyes, out of his ears, from the fingertips, from his toes. Something's getting pulled out of this man.
Does it seem like we're in a position where we could communicate to each other? Or does it seem like if we say anything, it's going to be heard?
So there is a murmur. There's a kind of a sing-song murmur that the 12 of them are doing. And it's slowly getting louder. The concern I have is that Dunville has turned to look at the 4 of you.
Do I know of the way out? I know that the room was unlabeled, but would I know where the nearest staircase to the next level is?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I feel like Yashka would assume that they aren't going to want to stop or pause this ritual, and the best thing might be to just calmly, in robes, walk towards that staircase and just get to boogie and get to going.
What do the other 3 think?
I think given that we've been spotted, what's going through my head is, number 1, pretend that this ritual that they are performing is a wonderful sight to me that I am honored to catch a glimpse of, and frantically try to think of a reason why my eyes are bleeding if somebody asks. If I know these people to be to regularly commune with spirits or to do magic that might cause this type of side effects, then maybe I will play it off as it's just a normal work day.
Do me a favor. I want my spider to give me a fortune roll. Let's figure out how much our spider really knows about this church. So this is just going to be a D6.
Okay.
Spider,
4, 5, or 6 is a success.
Spider's
I saw,
out, right?
I saw the fortune button earlier, and I did it earlier. Now I don't remember where it was.
This is a great way for the table to say, hey, don't really know the answer to this question, and it could be interesting either way. So let's just roll a die and see what it happens.
It's going to be
And
really
we
interesting.
Still don't know the answer to the question.
So Yashka, as a spider, you have done everything you can to learn as much about every faction in Duskfall, especially one operating in Brightstone, which is one of the main hunting grounds for the Unspoken. Here's what you know. The Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh is not holy. They are wealthy. Only a fool thinks that they are anything religious. But what they do and how they make money is a mystery to you. You just know that they are just they are bad people, and they do bad things. But you have tried to understand and pull this information out, and people are either too scared to tell you or they don't know. All right. So Dunville is looking at the 4 of you, standing there coming out of the closet.
I am going to, if I don't know if my hood would have been up or not, perhaps because we were getting ready to go out. I will walk out with like just like my backpack in my hands. And I'll like glance at him and take a deep bow. And out of my heavy load, I'm gonna pull out a bottle that looks similar to like the bottles that are in the room. And I'm just going to like set it near one of the other bottles, bow again, and start making my way towards the door.
Very interesting. So what are we pulling from our load?
I'm pulling a bottle of mysterious liquid.
Is that what it says on your loadout?
Oh no, I thought we made up inventory as we went. Did I misunderstand how to do this?
No, you do, but you have a certain list here.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a list.
That's okay.
Please hold.
That's all right. So let's go to Lurk.
I didn't realize that either. Just for point of order on playing, I figured you could kind of say anything
I thought you
you
just
want,
made up anything
but
you wanted.
You can get real
creative.
creative. You can definitely get very creative. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at my Lurk. All right. So you got fine lock picks, fine shadow cloak, light climbing gear, silence potion, dark sight goggles. Those are the ones that are special to you. Now I will tell you that
help me here.
I know my Whisper. I think Whisper has access to a ghost bottle.
I don't know what your loadout's like, Josh.
I would gladly produce a bottle if I saw you rummaging around in your bag looking to pull something out.
Now keep in mind here that this has been planned, right? And one of the contingencies that the four of you came up with is, hey, if we end up in something, Sadie, it'd probably be a good idea for us to have a ghost bottle. So you've got a ghost bottle? Yeah, of course, I'll bring one. So in the closet, you've already handed that over to Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, let's go back to where we are. You're bowing. And so, but Steam's going to mark it on their inventory. Yeah.
Okay.
You reach into your satchel and you pull out a ghost bottle. Is it full or empty?
What does a full ghost bottle traditionally look like? And I'll
So one is going to have an energy in it, and emanate a certain amount of light, whereas an empty one would not. Does this thing contain a spirit or not, or is it waiting to take one in?
I'll say it contains a spirit. Why not?
Okay. So you set this on the shelf and you bow again. It sounds to me that we're going to need a roll. So first thing is, what is your goal? So let's assume you succeed on this roll. What do you want? What will happen? What is the goal of this roll?
The goal of this is that it will appear as if, like, someone sent us out to gather the spirit, and we used the ghost door to get back in, so that people on the outside didn't know what we were doing, and it landed us in the closet. But that's all right. I know who my higher up is. I see him. Here's the ghost bottle. Don't question me on my way out.
All right. So the goal is, I belong here. I'm doing something that is somewhat familiar. If anything, you should be thankful. And the four of us are done, so we're going to walk out and no one's going to give us any shit. Does that sound, that a paraphrase?
That's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping for.
What action are you going to take to accomplish this?
I don't know, man.
Well, and remember, we're going to pick different actions. You're going to tell me how this action allows you to do this. I'll give you position and effect. You don't like that? Pick a different action.
I feel like there's not really a way that I can use finesse.
Why not?
I just don't know that I know what that would look like.
Ask Craig.
Okay.
Craig, what would it look like to
So
use finesse?
Finesse is going to be, it's dexterity. It's practiced. It is, it's not knocking down the door. It's slipping past the door, right? I think you could use finesse here, and I think finesse would go to your physicality. So your ability to show confidence with the bow and with the delicate ceremonial placing of the bottle, all of that. So I think I think we could definitely, it's definitely going to be a desperate action. So position is going to be desperate. I'll warn you, I'd probably be desperate for any action you pick because you've got a room full of cultists here. But your position's going to be, yeah, I think the effect is limited.
Okay.
So I think on a success, there might be a conversation, right? With a limited effect here. He may not know really who the hell you are, what you're doing here. So I think you're going to be at a limited effect.
Okay. What about with sway? Is there a way that like maybe like a catchphrase that I might have heard somewhere that I could say like you mogwegwe 5's out when like
I think sway gets you to a regular effect. So
okay.
I think sway puts you in a better position because you're trying to convince here. So sway makes a lot more sense to me. So I think you're still a desperate action, but with standard effect. Same sort of mechanics. You can push yourself to get what do you have in sway?
I only have one.
Okay, you can push yourself for an extra die. Someone in the group could help you.
I've got you here.
Please.
So knowing that something like this might happen, Yashka might not know what it is that the church does. She might not know how they make their money. She knows they're bad, and she knows they wrap themselves in religion. So she would have at least learned maybe what language they write their biblical text in or something like that, and at least know how to say something along the lines of, for the greater good or whatever their chant may be. So when you are about to say whatever you're about to say as you set the bottle down, Yashka reaches up and just tweaks the bottle a little bit and says, "Repeat after me. Just say what I say, okay?" And I'm gonna use foresight here to assist a teammate without taking stress. I can do that 2 times per operation.
Oh, is that your special ability?
It's my special ability. Yeah.
Very, very nice. So that's going to give you an additional die. So you're going to add a die on this roll. So we've got standard effect, desperate position. We're going to use sway. And Adam's going to use his foresight ability.
Is there a good way on this sheet for me to mark? Oh, maybe under notes to say that. Just say that I've used it one time.
We'll remember.
Okay.
This is the first time I've rolled dice.
Okay.
So
ever?
Well, in this game, not ever. I've got a very large, extensive collection.
All right. So you've got
I click the dice groupings on the left. Yeah.
So what you want to do is on your character sheet, you're going to go to sway and see how it turns red when you put your cursor over it.
Yes.
Click on that. You're going to have a +1 die modifier. That's we're getting that from Yashka. Your position is desperate. Your effect is standard.
All right.
Now you see, Lasim, this is how you do it. So
it looks so easy to you, huh?
So Elizabeth, you rolled a 4 and you rolled a 1. We're going to always take the best die. So 4 is you're going to succeed. So we stated this is what's really neat about Blades. We stated what the goal is. The goal was he is going to believe this. He's going to believe that you two, the 4 of you, are there to complete a mission he may or may not know anything about, but everything tells him that you are part of the church and you should be here. Now, it's a partial success. I know what the consequence is, but you guys don't know yet. So I'm going to spring a consequence on you here in a little bit, and it's going to be a result of this success, partial success. Now, I will tell you this is the consequence, so you still have the opportunity to resist it. So I will let you know when we get there. All right, so let's go through the fiction real quick. We've got Dunville there. He turns, looks with a concerned eye. Walk me through it, Elizabeth and Yashka.
We come out, the door is wide open, he looks at us, and I sling my backpack around, and I reach into it, and I pull out the bottle, and I bow, keeping the bottle straight.
As your hand is on the bottle, I reach up and grab the bottle as well, and you feel a piece of paper slide into your hand, and I whisper, "Read this with me."
And we turn to place the bottle, and I'm looking at the paper in my hand.
I'm in the back just
Slide the paper
nodding,
back in my robes and just
pulling my hood
nod
forward to
again.
try to hide the blood.
And I start walking.
So the four of you start to walk, and Dunville has not taken his eyes off of you. This man is just floating in the air, chest towards the ceiling, just stuff now pulling towards the hoods of each of the people that are surrounding him. And he looks at you, and then he just kind of gives you a, get out of here. As you start to head towards the door, Yashka, you know where the door is. You know where the door, from the door where you're going to get to the stairwell. The stairwell is going to lead you up 3 more floors, and hopefully we can find this GD vault, right? As you start heading that way, there's another door on your left, and it swings open. 2 people step out. One of them's holding a ghost bottle and bows to bows to Dunville, doing exactly what you guys just got done doing. So this is your consequence: is the people who actually were doing this mission with a ghost bottle show up, and Dunville's going to realize this is not who I thought it was. Now, here's where you have the opportunity to resist, Elizabeth. We can have them not show up before you guys leave. You can do that by saying, "I resist," which means that second closet door does not open. And then we'll roll to see how much stress that costs you.
Oh man, I thought there was gonna be another option. I guess the other option is or don't do that.
Or we keep playing, right?
And we convince, Dunval that they're the imposters.
We could try to convince these 2 people that they screwed their schedule up and that it was our job, not theirs, so that they don't even go in there.
I'm not gonna resist it. I don't want to. I'm sure that there will be more stress later, probably from not resisting this right now. But we will cross that bridge when we get there.
Could we flash back to their missions somehow?
So let's talk about flashback. So with a flashback, we're going to go to when we already planned for this. So we're going to say the goal of the flashback is this. I've already have this. This has already happened. This has already been coordinated. And then we're going to flash back to understand how that happened. There could be potentially roles involved, actions involved in that flashback, depending on how all that goes. We'll come back to current time, and then we'll decide how much stress that potentially costs you to do the flashback. So does Yashka want to do a flashback?
Part of me is tempted. Oof, I don't know. This could get complicated. I don't know if the flashback could pay off. Yeah, let's flash back. Let's go back.
Well, it looks like Stella had something to say. Let's hear what Stella had to say.
I just want to clarify. We are not. Are we in the same room as the ritual still? We are out. Oh, okay. We're still in the same room as the ritual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Push him back in the door. Slam the door.
All right. So Yashka, where are we flashing back to, and what happened?
I think we are flashing back to earlier tonight. Before we started our mission, there was a pre-mission that we had to run. Hopefully there was some intel that led us to know when these 2 would be going on their chore for the church. And my goal would be to replace those 2 people, using some help from our team, replace those 2 people with 2 street rats that we don't care about that can be caught and sacrificed in our stead.
So you get wind yesterday. You got wind of this procedure that happens where small teams of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh are sent out to collect ghost vials, right? To collect spirits for the church and to bring them back. And that's a regular thing. And for a little while, I feel like you guys explored that as a way to get in. until Lasim is like, no, I've got the intel. I know how we can get in. Maybe Yashka doesn't completely trust that. Maybe Yashka's like, well, okay. So Yashka, you find out one of your little spiders lets you know that 2 members of the church go to this tavern in Crowsfoot all the time. And they have been talking about this is going to be their first retrieve. Who's there with you?
Stella's there with me.
You and Stella walk into this dive in Crowsfoot, but let's be fair, every tavern in Crowsfoot's a dive. You walk into this dive wearing normal clothes. Who's the spider that keeps you up to speed on what's happening in this tavern?
Oh, the little spider. Her name is Rayla.
Rayla.
Rayla Honda.
Now, does Rayla, is she a regular there? Is she work there? How does she keep her ear to the ground for you?
Rayla's a waitress at the bar there.
So you walk in, you see Rayla there serving mushroom ale at the table. She looks up at you, and as she sets him down, she does this. So you know exactly the 2 people at the bar.
I turn to Stella and I inform him of what the plan is. And I say, okay, we have to take these 2 out and we're going to replace them. I can put one of them to sleep, but I can't put both of them to sleep. I need your help.
Dead or unconscious, mate.
Your choice. Just remember what happens if we kill people.
Yeah, Lasim gets angry. He hears him in the ghost zone. I got it.
And then, so the 2 of us, I walk over, and my spider knows the drill. Little Rayla knows the drill. She's got 2 drinks waiting for us. And this is earlier in the night, so I assume we had to run this. We had to do this right before we started our mission. So I assume I'm using my same load.
Perfect.
And I'm running out of loadout items here. But the one I'm going to use, I'm going to pull out of my bag. Let's see, it's my vial of slumber essence. It's enough to put one person to sleep for an hour. And I'm going to sneak that into one of the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And then walk over to the 2 that are at the bar. And Stella, I assume you're coming with me, right? You're like on my heel. Are you with me?
100%.
So I'm going to...
Scary dog privilege, bodyguard fashion. I'm
Nice.
right behind you.
I love that. I'm going to walk over and just set the drinks in front of them. And I'm going to say, it's my honor to have you in the establishment tonight. And I wanted you to know that little thing over there, I wanted to send these to you. And point, Rayla's a cutie. So I'm pointing at her and kind of going like she's giving them 2 drinks on the house and I'm delivering them to them.
So kind of the taller, skinnier one kind of pulls back a little bit and goes, I don't even know you. I don't drink something I don't eat from a stranger. This is what and he's pushing the drink away and turns to his friend, and his friend reaches for the drink and he slaps the guy's hand. He goes, "What? We don't even know who these people are. We just want to drink alone."
No, of course, relax. But no one in my establishment goes unnoticed. I just want to make sure that you come back and we get repeat business as much as we can. We truly appreciate our locals. And that's all I need to say. It sounds like you don't need the company.
I'm assuming with proximity, I saw which one he put the draft in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll grab the other cup, gesture of good faith, and I'll down the whole thing and tap it out upside down on the table.
So let's do this. We're going to need an action roll. And let's state what is our goal.
My goal is to convince the one with the slumber essence to drink their drink.
Okay. All right. And how are we going to do that? What action are we going to take?
I am going to try. I'm going to attempt study here. And the reason I want to try study is I want to know enough about them to decipher if there is something about their culture, where they're from, something that involves a traditional way, the equivalent of a skull or a slanja that would encourage them share this drink in good, faith and partnership.
I really, really like that. All right, so let's go ahead and have this be a risky position
Okay.
and standard effect. So if you succeed at this, they are going to feel comfortable and say, yeah, well, I think it is safe to drink here. I'm going to go ahead and suggest something, though. It sounds to me like someone's already offered some help. So it sounds to me like Stella has already potentially given you an extra die with what Stella just did. So if you're willing to take a stress for what you just did, Stella, you'll go ahead and give an extra die on this roll.
Take that dice, Yashka.
Okay. All right, so I click study. A modifier is going to be a +1 here.
Mm-hmm.
Position is risky. Effect is standard. And we are going to roll. Here we go.
Very nice. 4, 3, and a 1. So they're Taikarosi. And when you got up there, you realized one of them was Taikarosi because of the scales that go from the behind the man's ears down to his back. And Stella, you notice immediately these are both Taikarosi. One because of the scales on the back, the other one because of the 7 fingers on each hand. Once you've identified their Taikarosi, you realize I know one way to make a Taikarosi feel comfortable, because they don't generally feel comfortable anywhere. What do you do to make them feel comfortable and get them to drink that drink?
It's already rolled, so I can do whatever I want here. This could be fun.
Remember, you're here with a Taikarosi. I'm Taikarosi. So.
Oh. Well, I'm going to have this conversation with you beforehand and ask you what makes a Taikarosi feel very comfortable.
And what did you tell him? Tell her.
I told her, well, it depends on which parent was not human. But for me, I always feel welcome when someone gently rubs the back of my neck. It just makes me smile. And let's be honest, how many times do you see these shark teeth?
I love that. The Taikarosi, what's like archetype is that species? Is it like nesting? Is it hiving? Is it
It's really not clear what Taikarosi are.
Oh, okay.
Even the Taikarosi aren't very sure. They're definitely people, right? They're much people as a Skulllander or anybody else. It's just they have this touch of something that makes them different. And some people think it's a mutation. Some say it's demonic. Some things think it's tied to the ghost fields or the outlands. It's really not clear. But they are an often feared and maligned group here in Duskfall. Many of your Taikarosi will do everything they can to hide what would mark them as Taikarosi. Apparently, these two don't seem too concerned about it.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna take what Stella said, and the one that I want to drink, I'm just gonna offer just a little scratch right on the back, right on the scales. And Stella's and Bitsy here, she's got some. I just really remembered my alias is Bitsy. She's got some nice little nails, and she's just gonna like give that little scratch, and then she'll just say something like, "To being who we are."
So, as your hand goes to the back of the one's neck, we also see Stella's hand going to the back of the neck of the other one. Now, Stella gives a smile, and the other one sees the teeth and does not hesitate and allows you to give that kind of that friendly pat on the back, but it's a massage to the back of the neck. That's the Taikarosi comfort, right? And way of showing friendship. And the tall, thin one, though, as you start going, you see him startle for a second, but your hand goes on, and he's like, "Oh." And he's not sure if you're Taikarosi or not, but you know what the hell you're doing. So he takes the drink, he slams it down, he sets it down. Here's the consequence for your partial success. So you succeeded. He starts to fall asleep on the bar. We also notice Stella losing her footing as well. Because your spider thought she'd be helpful to poison both of them for you. So the consequence is that Stella also drank the slumber. Now you can resist that if you want. And this would be Yashka's role. So Yashka's the one that has to resist it.
Okay.
Your fate is in her hands.
Yeah. Yaska's gonna resist this because I need Stella to take the other one out.
Okay. So it's done. It didn't happen. In fact, we speed back for just a half a second before you see your girl about to pour the poison in there, and you're like, oh, okay. She puts it away. All right. So you're gonna take 6 stress, but you're gonna roll.
Oof.
Let's see. I want you to roll. I want you to roll study. I want you to roll hunt. Hunt to resist, because this has to do with you seeing and noticing the room fast enough to notice that your spider was trying to poison both drinks.
On a rescue position, on a stand-up position, just a straight roll.
This is a straight roll. So whatever you roll is going to subtract from 6, and what's left is what you're going to take in stress. So if you roll a 6, you take no stress.
Oof. Let's see what happens here, because I have 0 in hunt.
So you're going to roll 2 dice and take the lowest. Let's roll it.
2
And
dice.
don't worry about position and effect. Just leave it.
Oh wait, that was a modifier +2. Wait, if I've got 0 in hunt, do I need to add a modifier?
You just roll it.
Right.
Foundry knows what to do.
Ah,
All right, so you're gonna take 4 stress. So go ahead and mark 4 stress on there.
marked.
All right, one of them is like, oh, she kind of leans on the bar, and his buddy's like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? What
Stella.
what's going on here? Why is this happening?
It's okay, sweetheart. How's about you and me and the cute little broad that bought us this drink go have a chat? And I'll kind of pick him up from the bar by the neck and start walking him away in the direction of the plant.
Okay. You're much larger than him. He's kind of a small kind of.
Meanwhile, I'm dragging the unconscious one by.
Small poochy one, and he's like, okay. And as you walk him away, we cut back to modern time. We cut back to the door flying open, the 2 hooded figures coming out, holding the ghost vial. They turn to look at the 2 of you, and it's those 2 drunk rats that you hired to replace them. So Dunville looks and goes, and turns around and goes, "What's going on here?"
And under our hoods, because I'm never taking my hood off, I just point and I go, and I say under my hood, I've never seen them before here. I don't know who they are.
Take 2 stress for the flashback. On cue, your 2 rats take off like they are the guilty party. And
Can I just shout, "Seize the heretics! They're getting away!"
just
like
2
that.
people break off from this ritual and start chasing after your rats. Dunville needs to turn his attention back to the ritual. He goes back to the ritual. You guys make it to the door unabated. You're headed up the stairwell. What's the plan? What's next?
Good God, I didn't think that would work. Oh, where the hell is this
It's no time for rest yet.
vault?
Listen,
Where is it?
we're very close. We might only have to get through 2 or 3 more levels.
It's all
No,
right.
no,
I
no,
knew
no.
you'd all have a plan. Thank you.
A web with one thread always fails. That's why we're always on backup plans. I told you it was worth going to that bar earlier. Come on.
How many? Wait. How many taverns have you been to this week?
Me or Stella?
Stella. Were they all in preparation for this mission?
If I say yes, can I justify spitting the group's money?
Never mind, it doesn't matter. We will discuss it later.
So You see the four of you work your way up the stairs. Every time someone passes by, is kind of the hoods are down. You get to the ground floor. You maneuvered your way towards the back to come out at the antechamber in front of the vault. As you open up that door, you see exactly what you expected to see. Now, you'd hope to have seen the inside of this, but you don't. You're on the outside. And as you open the door, as anticipated, there are two people guarding the locked door, standing at full attention, straight backs. What is unanticipated, Wasim, is you look at them and you immediately know they are both hollows. What a hollow is a person without a spirit or soul. So you look at them and you see they are without spirit, without soul. Someone has made the two of these two people into a hollow.
Are they kind of like golems? They're just here doing a job and don't have a will of their own?
They are dead-eyed. They follow directions.
Okay. Do they see us and react to us immediately, or they're just sort of standing guard?
They are just standing guard, face forward, stiff back. They both have some sort of like staff type thing that they're standing there at attention. So you come in kind of like in a side door, they're face straight forward, so you're off to their left. They don't even acknowledge you coming into this antechamber.
May I ask them who is allowed in?
Yeah, I think Amy, you're trying to say something?
I was just curious, and this might have played into a role last session. I'm unfamiliar, but at the last time we played, just 5 minutes ago, 5 weeks ago, I did a flashback with my person, the person I've got my contact, my buddy, my pal, and I got a set of keys. Is that something that is still usable, or was that something? Okay.
No, that was the thing, right? Is you did that as part of your preparation. So you went and you got a set of keys from your locksmith. So you have got what you believe to be the keys to this vault door.
Okay, I take it back. I forgot about the key thing. I'm not talking to these golems.
Well, I was gonna wait after I was like, I'll play Josh's thing by ear. I just want to check on this before I say anything else. Okay.
So you enter the antechamber.
Yeah, enter the antechamber. As we were walking up the stairs, I was like shifting through my backpack, grab my keys, put my backpack back inside my cloak as best I can, and I'm holding them here. And as I'm just gonna walk confidently right up, pull out the keychain, spin it, and stick what I'm hoping is the correct key into the door.
So
confidence.
As you approach, and the way the room is set up, you've got this door at the end of this long room, and there's kind of these half walls that create almost a hallway that lead to the door. So you have to kind of go around and kind of walk down this half-walled hall within this room to come towards it. You get close. One of these hollows immediately puts his thumb on the center of your forehead. And he holds it there for a second as you're reaching to put the key in, and the two stabs come down and cross in front of you.
Come on, gents. Do you think I would have a key to this door if I wasn't supposed to be here? Step aside.
You do not have the tainted. Only the tainted can enter.
It's just like your opinion, man.
I'm gonna lean close to Yaksha. Something tells me they ain't gonna listen to us. Should we do this my way?
Something tells me to kill them. There won't be any ghosts hunting us. Let's do it your way.
I'll try to make eye contact with Lasim for a moment.
I don't know if what I said is true. I'm just making an assumption about a soulless creature not summoning the consequences of death. Lasim
Do
Okay.
what you have to do.
Lasim,
Don't make me watch.
when Lasim looks away, Stella's gonna like roll his shoulders, step up, and try to just crack their heads together right in front of the vault.
All right. So what is our goal, Stella?
Goal is to incapacitate them as silently as possible.
You're
All
echoing
right,
through
so
both
to
mics.
eliminate them as an obstacle.
I'm using my second assist here.
Okay.
Which, however Stella goes about this, Yashka is going to find a way to help.
All right. So, Yashka, what do you do to help? We know what Stella's going to do. What's Yashka doing to help?
Yeah, that's just a great question. I wasn't prepared for you to ask it to me so quickly there. I was hoping to have 10 seconds or so to think about it. Yashka is going to just take my robe and lift it off in one glorious pull and sling it in the air.
To kind of distract them?
Yep, hoping that they're going to see something, whether they're looking at that or looking at me. Even those soulless creatures can't resist the charm of Yashka von Drothman.
So, out of nowhere, for no apparent reason, we see Yashka just put just this huge gesture, ripping off her robe, and the robe just falls like a parachute above her and just fills with air, which causes them to look up as we see Stella coming in, one ear on one head, one ear on the other head, and we're going to connect the other two ears on the inside. So what is our action?
By the way, while this is going on, I'm going to be on lookout duty, and I'm going to try to do it from a hidden position so that I don't know what I'm going to be able to do if anybody's attention is drawn, but I want to be hidden if the rest of the party gets caught so that I can tail behind and try to do something.
Perfect.
Because I have decent prowl.
I also have a way to assist if.
So we can only get one assist.
Oh, one assist. Okay, never mind.
Hold on. This is a
I'm going to
freebie
AFK a sec. You all keep going.
Yashka's, right? All right. So Stella, you're going to get a +1 die. But what's our action?
I feel like since they're humanoids and I'm cracking skulls, I'm going skirmish.
Skirmish, I think, makes a ton of sense to me. Let's talk about position and effect. Effect is great. So it's going to be a greater effect. You're going to take them out. These are hollows. Cracking their skulls is not that difficult. I think definitely with the distraction that Yashka gave us, you're going to be able to eliminate them as obstacles here. It's position I'm concerned about. I think it's risky greater. So risky position, great effect. You get +1 die from the assist.
+1D, risky, great.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, did you disable anything above a 4 on Forge tonight?
Remember, he had me do the first dice roll because I'm wonderful at rolling dice, guys.
Okay.
You're running out of ways to tell this story.
You come up and you grab one ear of one of these hollows and the other ear of the other one, and you crack their heads together. And any person getting their head bashed into another head by Stella, the first thing that would happen is the eyes would close, and then you would feel their weight pull down like gravity. What happens here is they don't even blink. You bash their heads together, they both look at you unblinking, and they both reach for each of your wrists. And they pull you into their head. And you get a double headbutt. So you do not remove them as an obstacle. You do not get your goal. And I need you to take a level 1 harm.
Bleeding from the eyes. Bleeding from the eyes.
Bruised head. You can resist that.
Resist is 6 stress.
6 stress, then plus a roll that'll reduce that.
I think I gotta take it.
So take the harm or do the resist?
I'm gonna take the harm.
Okay, so we see Stella like falling back. These two are going and they're reaching for Stella. They've got Stella both each of them has one of the shoulders on Stella. Stella, you're like, oh, like this, and they are inhumanly lifting Stella up.
Time to use 2 items. Good thing I brought a backpack. Didn't exactly expect this to go well. As like, I see him like going to headbutt. I'm like sliding the keys back in my pocket. I'm reaching out and I'm grabbing a lurk specific item, and I'm struggling to actually add it to my inventory.
Don't worry, just mark. We know it's marked.
Okay. I am going to grab a silence potion vial. And the silence potion vial is a vial of golden liquid that negates all sound within 10 paces of the drinker for a span of several minutes.
Yes.
And I'm
do
gonna
that.
like rip my teeth out, like rip the cork out with my teeth and spit it, chug it, and while I'm chugging it and my hand goes up, I'm reaching into my pocket and pulling out my second weapon, which is a pistol. And I'm just glug, and under the one of them that's like pulling up Stella, I was just right under his chin. Wham!
As you
Shooting
do
him.
that, I'm pulling one more item that I keep concealed because this is brilliant. We can't not do this. So, as I see you doing that, of course I knew you were going to do this. And I was hoping you would do this. From under my palm, you see me flick, and my small concealed pistol comes out, and I just throw it right at you. I throw it towards. I'm hoping you threw that potion down, and I'm throwing it towards the hand that your potion was in.
Yep, you're exactly right. It's like we've rehearsed it. It's chug, 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 pull out, shoot, and as that left hand throws the vial backwards, it's grabbing the other gun from Stella, and it's coming up on the other guy.
So there's
both of them are getting gunshots under the head.
Couple things happening here, and it's happening all once in this beautifully choreographed dance. First is the drinking of the vial. And the only thing I can think of is just how unsettling it is when everything goes silent. For everybody else, for the other 3 of you, you didn't realize how much noise was just ambient in this room. People breathing, you didn't even really hear that until you stopped hearing it. People walking and just the small sounds that their feet would make as their clothes scrape against the skin. It is a silence. There's nothing. And it's extremely unsettling. Luckily, you're familiar with it because this isn't the first time that we have seen Elizabeth decide someone needs to go and no one needs to hear about it. Next, we see both guns, one under the chin of the one under the chin of the other. Stella, you're like this, and you see from behind, arms come up, pointing. I am going to need a roll. So what is our action?
This is where I feel like I can use finesse. Like I'm just so accustomed to like spinning the guns on my hands, and I'm just right in between Stella's arms, almost unseen.
Yes.
They don't even realize I'm there because they're all focused on him. He's the big guy. I'm just a small girl, like, out of nowhere, guns on him.
And normally I would say this is a desperate action. We have got 2 obviously stronger than normal human hollows here. They've got Stella physically in their hands. You guys are in probably one of the most secure parts of here. But that using that fine potion, that silence potion, that puts us at a risky position. So we go from a desperate to risky. So you're in a risky position. And I mean, a greater effect is the only thing that makes sense to me. 2 bullets under the chin. That's going to take these 2 out. So the goal is to take them out. The action is going to be finesse. You've got a risky, great effect. Is there anything that you want to do more? So do you want to take 2 stress to get an additional die? Do you want to take a devil's bargain for another die?
Ooh.
Will you explain the devil's bargain to me again?
So the devil's bargain is I'm going to tell you something that will happen as a result of what you're doing. It'll be something that's not great. Whether you succeed or fail, this bad thing will be true. But in return, you get a free die. So you'll get an extra die And here's the beautiful part. I'll tell you the devil's bargain first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So here's the devil's bargain. Whether you succeed or fail, these hollows were not complete. So whether you succeed or fail, they will both release ghosts.
Okay.
Is that worth a die?
So here's another question: can I take a devil's bargain and put on stress to get 2 extra dice?
No.
Okay, that makes sense. I just was curious. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a devil's bargain because in Adam's clapping his face, but I'm gonna do it in hopes that like there are people downstairs literally with vials of spirit bottles, and I'm just gonna, if someone shows up and we're still there, I'm gonna be like, I stole one of those bottles, and a spirit just popped out of it. Like, I'm just gonna try and lie my ass off.
Wait. I pop my head out from hiding. I'm like, the coast is still clear. Wait, I can... Oh, wait. Our characters aren't aware of what's happening here. This is out of character. I can, from my item list, be carrying an empty spirit bottle and a pole with a hook that you can use to pull spirits into one.
All right, so we'll hold off on that, right? So a couple things to make sure that we understand what we're doing here. We are saying that the devil's bargain is that these hollows are not without ghost, right?
Mhm.
So they are cleared out of spirit, but they will both release ghosts when you kill them. Whether you succeed or fail, ghosts are coming out. And that will set a timer because that means the spirit wardens are coming. And there's and the long list of things you don't want to happen to you in Duskfall, being questioned by a spirit warden is very high on that list.
Oof.
And being found to have released another ghost in Duskfall, the penalty for that is not even discussed.
And we're looking at releasing 2 if you take the devil's bargain. If we don't if Ames doesn't take the devil's bargain, do we not know if they're complete or not? Or are we assuming that they wouldn't
Or is
release
that only the
ghosts?
consequence?
Ah!
If we take the chance anyway,
Now-
I'm giving it.
Well, here's the thing too. It's just only 2. How much stress do you have?
I don't have any.
Oh my God. You're outside the vault. You're squandering stress. Stress is meant to be used.
All
Take
right,
the 2
listen, I'm
stress,
not.
get the extra die. You don't want that devil's bargain.
Okay, well then that's what we'll do. I'll take 2 stress, and we will roll with a critical
6.
success.
Pure
Bam.
success. No
That's how you do it, fellas.
Let's go.
So I'm going to tell you what you see because I can't tell you what you hear. We
Like
see both pistols. One that came out of Elizabeth's bag. One that miraculously came out of Yashka's sleeve. And you see as the tops of the heads explode off. We see Stella dropped as these hollows release. And Stella falls to the floor. We only see it. We don't hear the thud. And these hollows kind of twist and crumble. Almost like marionettes that had their strings cut. And they drop at your feet. Off in the corner, Lasim is watching all of this. Stella is on his back. He's conscious, kind of shaking his head. We just watched this beautiful dance between Elizabeth and Yashka. The 4 of you are alone in this room with 2 dead hollows at your feet.
This is why I
walk
travel
over-
with brutes.
And I look at you, Lasim, and I go. But then I walk over to Elizabeth, and I just like, I kind of like pet, because I'm huge. I am a large woman, and I just kind of like pet your head a little bit. I pull you in. I just give you 2 pats on the back.
I like shoulder your pats. I spin like my gun, put it away, pass his back, and I've already got the keys out, and I'm like trying the keys on the vault door.
So the key goes in the door,
Her, my bad.
and I'm imagining your eyes kind of closing a little bit. You may or may not be spiritual, but you're praying. Click. Now, as a lurk, you're very familiar with locks, things locking and unlocking. This makes the click sound. The click sound you anticipate when something is unlocked, whether it's been picked by you or you just happen to have the right key, and it looks like you have the right key. What you don't anticipate, though, is the opposite spirit wards that were on this lock that you didn't and couldn't notice until you've unlocked it, because you can see the green mist pull away back into the lock. And we hear we don't hear anything. We see the door kick out a little bit. The four of you are able to go into the vault. You grab something of tremendous value. What I want to know is how the four of you are getting the hell out of here. And I think we should take a 10-minute break so you have time to think about it. Be back in 10 minutes?
This has
Yeah,
been
that's awesome.
Bite,
Yeah,
bite,
All right.
bite,
let me
spicy,
kick us to
spicy.
a BRB screen here. There we go. Now we're unmuted. Hello, we're back. We came back a little early because we were all sitting around already discussing what we wanted to do to get out of here. I was going to share that one of the whisper items in the class loadout, whatever it's called, is a ghost key that can open a door to the ghost realm if one is nearby. So I could try doing some. I don't know how to detect that. Maybe it'll be in a tune or something. Wait, am I thinking about skills first again?
No, you're thinking about what's in my bag, right? So these are things you could have brought.
Yeah, I'm just
with
thinking
you.
about how I locate a ghost door or whatever.
And using the, so you can get into the ghost field without this, right? But by using the key, this would potentially will improve either your position or your effect.
Okay.
If you were to use the ghost key.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit you'd get there.
Okay.
The four of you have got what you came for. You're in the antechamber of the vault room.
Can we just, we came back from our break. I want our viewers to know this, because this is a really cool hype moment for Blades that I didn't know, like I didn't realize we would experience. Ames, I had no idea you were going to have a silence potion. All I knew was that I had a concealed pistol, and the second that Hank's roll failed, I thought, I'm going to have to use this pistol. I'm only going to be able to take out one, because it's a one-shot pistol, and the entire Sanctorium is going to know. And then you go, I've got a silence potion, and I'm like, fuck, we got this. This is amazing.
That to me is one of the benefits and one of the cool parts of Blades is that, like, you don't have to, like, pick your inventory until the moment calls for it. And when Hank's thing failed, I was like, this is only going to take out one of them. We're going to have to figure something out. But I'm going to make it real quiet, and we're going to work on it. And just, like, being able, like, that flexibility, you know, and there's drawbacks to having a heavy pack. Haven't had to, like, suffer so much from it this time just because of everything that's happened. But, you know, being able to, like, oh, nope, I totally packed a silence vial and a pistol. And of course you brought another pistol, and we can just get right back in it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it does two things that I just absolutely love. One, it really reinforces the fact that we are playing characters that are very, very good at something that we're probably not very good at, right? Which is planning a crime, right?
Yeah.
The four of you are very good at this
God,
as
I'm terrible
characters.
at that.
And it's a really neat mechanic to allow the character to be better than the player. And then the other thing I love is I always imagine this montage for each character where they have like all of their tools in front of them and they're going, yeah, I'm going to need this. And this could probably happen, right? So I always like knowing that they brought the perfect thing for the perfect situation. I always have this vision of these masterminds packing their bags before the thing, knowing exactly, there's probably a good chance that Stella's going to fuck things up. So I better bring a silence potion. And if I'm going to bring a gun, you know, I should have that. Like, I just love that about it. All right. So the four of you are in this room.
Right.
Okay. We've got...
Are we still in silence, or are we in a separate place now?
We're in a separate room, so the specifics of the silence potion are that it's over a span of several minutes, but it's on me because I've drank it.
Yeah, we can let that pass. It's going to
Okay.
take you more than a few minutes.
I just
kinda
wanted to
get
check
into
if we
the
could
vault,
communicate. Yeah.
find what you're going to steal.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
You-
go ahead,
you-
man. You're good.
We can try to slip out unnoticed in the spirit realm.
I might let you guys maybe take the treasure through the spirit realm. That didn't work out so well last time. So spirit realm is certainly a possibility. Not to bust your balls, man.
It is a fickle place, and the odds of that happening twice in a row are very, very remote.
I just want to weigh in. Ghosts or not, we probably shouldn't leave those bodies laying in the hallway.
Good point. Go ahead and pull them into this room, maybe, and we'll close the door.
Something real quick that's important. You guys have not heard any bells ring. So if someone dies in Duskfall, the spirit wardens will ring a bell if a ghost is released. And it can be heard no matter where you are in Duskfall, no matter if you're 4 floors down. And it's one of those things like when she shot them, there is that 30 seconds where the 4 of you are like, oh my God, there's no ghosts, no bells.
I like to think deep down inside we're like, are we not hearing a bell because of the silence potion or because there's no ghosts?
That's a really good point.
Does it silence sound from outside the radius or only from inside?
Who's to say?
All right, the 4 of you are just inside the vault.
Don't give him ideas.
You got the 2 bodies. It sounds like we're going to drag those hollows into the vault.
How does this key work? Who can go through the doors? Can you take the bodies into the ghost zone and just leave them there? After all, we want to leave without a trace, right?
Josh doesn't know the answers to these questions, does my character?
I'm sure your character does. What's the answer?
Oh, absolutely. We could all pass through the spirit realm right out of here, no problems.
I mean,
Why can't we
obviously
leave
that's
the
my plan
bodies
B.
there?
I know you could do that. The question is, if you can get us into the spirit realm, what's us fine? How are we going to get out again?
It has ways of spitting us out. It doesn't like having us there permanently.
Okay,
Right.
I think it's
let's
more
look at the
of
blueprints.
not a question of how, it's a matter of when and where.
Right. See, here's the thing, and that's certainly a possibility, and it's certainly doable. Thank you, Yashka, for these blueprints. What are people's thoughts on maybe kind of lingering a little bit, and I will follow this staircase, make some noise, maybe shoot the gun again, go up this staircase. You think this room right here's got a window?
Well, of course it does. Isn't that where you set up the climbing gear earlier?
No.
Well, where
There
were
you have it.
all afternoon?
The answer is no.
Stella and I went to the bar. Where did you go?
I was busy doing other things. Relax. I can get out, but if I make enough of a ruckus, do you think the 3 of you can get out?
So it sounds to me like plan A is Elizabeth goes off on her own, confident she can get out of here, makes a huge distraction by firing a gun in the sanctorium, which hopefully is enough cover for the other 3 to get out. Maybe the back door, the front door, I don't know. So that sounds like plan A. Do we have any plans B or C? Or are we going plan A?
Plan B is whatever Lassim has for us.
Lassim says, "Hey, I can just like I got you in here, I can get you out of here."
We were so confident in his abilities the first time, and now look at us.
Now everybody's like, maybe it would be better if we just made a huge ruckus and got chased by an entire evil faction. Maybe that would be safer than letting you touch dice.
So B is we go into the ghost field to get out of here. Do we have a C?
I want to. Yeah, Stella, what you got?
Why don't we do a mix of the two? Stella... Oh, Stella's me. Lassim and I can take the bodies and the goods and jump through the ghost realm. You go make a lot of noise, and I mean a lot of noise. Yaksha, you're good at making everybody listen to you. Just walk out the front door.
That's not splitting in two. That's splitting in three. And I
Wait.
And I put my hand on his forehead. I go, "Oh, Stella."
Ow, 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 ow.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's a mark. It really hurts.
Yeah, you're not thinking straight. I'll come with you, Ted. Let's
So,
see.
Wait.
When you pull your hand away real quick, though, Yashka, you see a small black dot on Stella's forehead that's starting to spider.
You're one of my Spidermans now.
Let me look at that. What's going on? I stand in front of him.
Lashim, you look at it and you realize that that's not just a bruise. That these hollows, when they cracked his head, did something else.
I'm
And
looking
it's
at.
getting worse.
I'm looking intently at Stella's head, going, "It's fine. Don't worry about it."
Listen, last time you said that, we ended up in a coat closet. What is wrong with him?
I think we need to get out of here quickly, very, very quickly, and get you some attention.
Attention from whom? What are you not telling us?
Maybe a doctor sorcerer. I don't know. Listen, it's all fine. Don't be alarmed, Stella. No need to be stressed. Now, let me point out a few very important facts here. One, they don't know that we've taken this. Two, we're all still wearing disguises. Or can be. Why don't we just pretend that we're going out on patrol and just go for a walk?
That's the best idea. Why didn't any of us think about that? That's not even...
You are so used to everyone chasing you that you don't know what to do when no one's chasing you.
Well, there's just not many steps to that plan. It's not very... It's hard to see the web there.
Heads down, noses down, hoods up, out. That's
Right.
my suggestion.
Throw the corpses in the ghost realm. Let's get out of here.
I kind of like that.
We could clean up the corpses and
Elizabeth?
throw them into the ghost room.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Stella, hush. Elizabeth?
Listen, as often as I've tried to do it,
I think it just...
walking out
the
confidently
silent
doesn't.
potion is still working. Amy, we can't hear you.
No, I can hear.
I can hear her.
Ah, in your face, Adam.
Adam, refresh your browser.
Are you hard muted? Are you muted on the website?
We all
We
hear
can
her.
hear her.
Everyone else can hear me.
Is it just me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn it. My headphones died. I mean, someone touched my ears.
All right. So while you figure that out, you had something to say, Amy.
As much as I love the the idea of just walking out confidently, it doesn't usually work that well for us. Let's be honest. I don't know how many places you guys have broken into, but just acting like you own the place only works 12% of the time. So you're welcome to try, or I can make a distraction and you can try, or we can take the ghost realm. But just walking out confidently doesn't really sound like it'll work.
At the very least, we should dispose of these bodies, so as to prolong alarm and to leave little trace of our presence here. I think that we should open a portal and fling them into it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I have just the key.
Right.
And you
Open
don't
the
need-
portal.
You don't need to use the key.
Okay.
All I need to know is what this looks like.
Okay. I am going to walk along the corridor outside of the vault and tap on walls and listen cryptically, like I'm hearing something that nobody else hears. And then I stop and back up, like I notice something Then I go into kind of a meditative trance, and my eyes roll back and turn solid black. And then I'm going to run my hand along the wall and tear open an ethereal portal that's just large enough to slide a body into head first.
What do you think? Go ahead. Go ahead, Hank.
I was gonna say I will assist in sliding the bodies.
Someone's got to do it.
The only pepper I'm going to put on this, and you can refuse it, is I love the idea of you, from your perspective, you are like tearing a portion of the wall away, right? And you're seeing this emptiness behind it. But I love the idea of the other three watching you take these bodies, and these bodies just go through the wall. They don't see the tear. They don't see the ghost field. They just see somehow these bodies are being thrown into a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the shoe of the last hollow just vanish into the wall. So there are no bodies left.
Don't you ever do that to me.
This is why you pay attention in school, children. Now, shall we get going?
Okay.
Out the front door?
I mean, or we could go out the kitchen.
Why would we go out the kitchen? Are you hungry? We need to get moving.
Nah,
Stella has an injury that should be looked at.
Yeah, I just thought surely the loading dock would have less people here at this time of night. I mean, fine, front door, whatever you want. This is your show. Don't throw me through a wall. I don't know.
Elizabeth. Make some noise. And I'm gonna start walking towards the stairs.
Don't you plan anything?
I'm going down and out the front door.
You're echoing.
That's what I'm doing. Oh,
No,
we're
you're on
on-
you're ground level. You're good.
in that case, I'm going out the front door.
We don't need noise.
I'm gonna reach over and I'm going to extend my hand to Yasha. Pistol, please.
Mine? It don't have one bullet, but here you go.
Is it one bullet or is it just?
Mine is a concealed single load pistol. That's all I have.
You still have yours. You're good.
I
And
do.
the best part about it, it's zero load.
Nice.
But like,
Yeah. So was my silence potion. 0 load. Cool. I've still got mine. I am going to. When I look at it and I realize it's a single pistol, I'm just gonna look at you and shake my head, hand it back, make sure mine's reloaded, and I am going to look for something that looks like maybe it's made of glass. I'm going to grab it, just kind of run up the first flight of stairs, and chuck it at the farthest wall possible, and just keep running upstairs, banging on like walls, trying to make attention.
All right, so we've got Elizabeth going up the stairwell, making a ton of noise.
For
What
this-
are the other? We know that Stella is going out the front door in his costume. What are the other two doing?
For the second time today, I'm yelling, "Seize that heretic at once!"
I've never seen that person here before.
I'm going to try to keep my hood up and confidently march my way down to the front entrance like I'm just patrolling my way out the door.
I'm with Lasim, but I'm also saying to him, I mean, this is perfect. Anytime that there's an emergency, you know, they're not going to wonder why we're not looking for the person, are they? That's fine. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to start with needing an action for Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth, what is your goal? And running up this staircase, breaking glass, banging pots. What are you trying to accomplish? If you're successful, what happens?
If I am successful, people are going to think that like maybe there's a chance that this person making noise is with the other two heretics who took off earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get them. We need to question them. They're moving up, so everyone else is also moving up.
And it sounds like we want the other 3 to be able to get out unmolested. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So our goal is we're going to make enough noise and everything to allow the other 3 to get out unmolested. That's our goal. What action are we going to take to accomplish that goal?
I'm thinking maybe prowl. Like, just kind of banging, making like a mess, kind of trashing the place on my way up. I'm not being careful. If I wreck enough stuff, people are gonna get pissed.
So with prowl, you're going to definitely be in a desperate position because now you're saying I'd like the entire sanctorium to head my way. That's definitely a desperate position. I'm going to have to give you a limited effect though, because when using prowl, you are conflicted between trying to be quiet and unseen and also make noise, which you can do because now we're in a situation where I feel like if you're using prowl, Elizabeth is trying to make the noise over there, not where I am, right? And trying to be sneaky and time things are up there. So we can definitely do prowl. It's going to be desperate, limited effect.
Okay. What about maybe survey? Like making sure I'm like hitting the rooms that like, oh, this, I remember from the blueprints that this is a big room's probably got lots of people. Bang, 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 bang. Let me shoot a hole in this wall that's probably got people in it.
So with survey, I'm imagining you're not trying to conceal yourself, right? What you're trying to do is maximum noise.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go to this room because it's full of glass cases. I'm going to go to this room because it's got a ton of metal that I can clang together. Survey is going to give you a standard effect. So you will make enough noise with survey that they will get out of here unmolested, and you still be in a desperate position. I'm having a hard time getting you out of desperate.
Yeah, I'm not sure that anything will really get me out of desperate.
Unless you wreck your way through a wall.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, straight up try to break a hole in the place and leave through it.
Oh, no. This is just to draw attention, right?
This
Or
is only the
also to
attention
get
part,
out?
not the escape part. I
Well,
think this is all part of...
All that matters is it comes down to our goal,
Mhm.
right? So our goal is
We get out
to
unmolested.
allow the other three to get out of here unmolested. That's what our goal was. Now, if you
Mhm.
want to add to that goal, you can. It might impact other things, though.
Is it possible to have like 2 different roles for 2 different goals?
Don't worry about roles,
Okay.
right? Right now, we're in the
Okay.
conversation, right? So the conversation
right.
is our goal is that I'm going to make enough noise to let the other 3 get out unmolested. That's the goal that we've talked about. We don't have to stay
Mhm.
with that goal. We can amend that.
Okay. So, end goal, I suppose, overall, I want to draw attention to myself. I've got a gun that I can use, and I want to be able to get through a window. Like, I want to draw as much attention to myself and maybe even, like, get out, like, a separate door as someone else. I have some items and some
So
abilities
you're-
that I know
you're
can
think-
help me later.
We're talking about what, not how, right? So
Okay.
right now we're talking about what. So now it sounds like the goal is I'm going to create enough distraction that the 4 of us get out of here unmolested.
See, that's where I don't know. I don't know if it comes down to 2 different goals. Like, it's 2 different, like, moments, I guess.
All we're worried about is this moment. And what do you want the goal to be? Obviously, the bigger the goal.
Right. My goal here is just to draw attention to myself.
Okay. All right. So we're
To
going to go
get
back
them
to
out easy.
our original goal is we are going to make enough of a distraction that the 3 of them can go out the front door unmolested.
And worry about the rest later.
And we looked
Yeah.
at, you looked at survey
Mhm.
for you to
The
be
prowl.
maximize the noise to be able to get out of here. And the position and effect of that is going to be desperate standard. You still have all of your tools available to you, right? So you can use an item to potentially up this to a greater effect from a standard effect. You could take two more stress to add a die, or a devil's bargain to add a die. What do you have in survey?
What do I have in survey? I've got 1 in survey.
Okay.
I'm looking at different items. To get out, I'm kind of holding on to something that I know is going to cause me a lot of stress. So I'm hesitant to create more stress. Would it be possible to draw a lantern out of my backpack while I'm running and set a fire with a lantern?
If you were to do that, it would change you from standard effect to greater effect.
And that way, people are running out of the building instead of everyone wondering why the three of us are running out while everyone else is searching for the wrecker.
Yeah,
I was
that's what
thinking
I'm gonna
about if anybody questions us. Well, I have a plan.
Oh, okay.
I have a
alright.
how
So you
plan
can get
if anybody questions
Okay,
us.
I
But
like that.
So we're going to mark our
Okay.
load for the lantern. That's going to change us from risky standard to risky greater.
It's risky, not desperate.
Desperate, sorry.
I was like, how did I go to risky? All right.
Yeah, desperate standard to desperate greater.
Okay.
You still have an option for Devil's Bargain or take 2 stress for an extra die, or you can just roll the 1 die you have.
What is the devil's bargain?
Yeah. It's
Devil's
always good to
Bargain.
hear.
It's always good to know, you know.
Never hurts, right?
Not to mention, I just
What?
love seeing your mind work.
What could happen here? What could happen here is, regardless of whether you succeed or fail at this, Elizabeth, you're going to betray something that's very important. You're going to betray the name of this crew, the Unspoken. The Devil's Bargain is, whether you succeed or fail, the church is going to know that this little mousy crew that call themselves the Unspoken got in here and stole some shit. So you'll get an extra die, but whether you
They
fail or
already
succeed,
hate us.
the church is going to know that the 4 of you stole something. That's the
I think
Devil's
it's worth
Bargain.
it. I think it's worth it. I think if the church is the one that knows, you know, we kind of want to. I don't know. I don't know that I hate.
Let's
that,
go to a
like,
-2. Let's go to a -2.
That's
It's fine.
exactly
know,
what'll
it doesn't
happen
hurt
is you
us.
will go
That's
to
what's
a
gonna happen.
-2 with the church.
I
All
don't-
right.
Come at us.
So no matter
Let's
what
go.
happens, you're at a -2 with the church. You're going to get a +1 die. We have used the lantern in order to get a greater effect.
Mhm.
So we are going to roll study. Add
Roll.
1 die.
Let me make
Survey?
Sure, let me go back and make sure I
Or
clicked
study?
said survey.
Survey, sorry. Survey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, oh god, oh we gotta redo this whole thing.
Yep. So survey.
Oh,
We hear Elizabeth. You hear the crash, the crash. You hear somebody yell, "Fire! Fire!" The 3 of you are doing exactly what you're supposed to do, which is get the F out of here through the front door. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Look straight ahead and get out.
With the loot.
Oh, yeah. As you're headed out, at the last minute, one of the church guards stops you, grabs onto you, Stella, and grabs you like here. And in any given day, an idiot grabbing you by the chest like that would be asking for one thing and one thing only. The problem is it's been a long time since someone is a head and a half taller than you. He says, we have to go back. We have to go back, and we have to bring out the elder. Rowan is still in here. And like 7 of them just physically start moving you towards back inside the building. You're going to help us. We're going to get Rowan. So Rowan is the leader of the church.
I make eye contact with Yaksha, and then just get led on. I'm like, go, and let them push me through. I'm trying to let the more diminutive members of my group get out, and I'll just follow the.
So you'll
The big dudes.
follow the group, and you're hoping that you're going to be able to do something that allows the other 2 to still escape unnoticed.
Yes.
All right,
I
so let's
want
hold that.
to
go ahead.
stay with Stella. I want to walk beside Stella while they're pushing Stella back and say, "Can't you see that neither of us are in fighting condition? We were assaulted by the assailants. We need medical attention. Look, I'm bleeding from the eyes and he has a terrible wound.
Blood all over your face.
He's
What's
not going
Yashka
to be
doing?
any use to you.
What is Yashka doing?
Yeah.
Oh, Yaska's walking out, but also looking to see if there are any other people leaving the sanctorium from any other
So
exits.
Yashka, all three of you are captured in this human net of these guards.
Okay.
Being pushed forward. We've got
Oh.
Yasim pulling the hood back to say, look, we're in no condition to save Rowan. We have got Stella is going to attempt to allow the two of you to get away by doing something that says they only want me. Only I can save Rowan.
And then Yashka's gonna get uppity. Bitsy's having a moment here. Because the plan wants to go forward, but the second that Lasim started talking with a good plan, Yashka's doubling down on this and saying things like, "You absolutely cannot put your hands on my patient. We all pay tribute to the church here, but not all of us work here. I need to get these two to my infirmary as quickly as possible."
It is possible that the assailants put a magical curse on us, and that by even touching us, you could be affected as well. We need to get as far away from this place as possible into quarantine.
Okay. All of this is happening. I want to cut back to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're making all of this noise. We've started a fire in the sanctorium. Everything's going to plan. Everything's great. How are you getting out of here?
I am remembering that on the 3rd floor, there was a grand, display hall with large windows, and I am sprinting and throwing myself through a window. And as I fly through the window, I'm pulling another item out of my backpack.
So as you head towards the window, you are startled. You're startled by the person who is leaning against that window. Somebody you are not happy to see. Almost nonchalantly, despite a burning building inside of the sanctorium, is your friend Grace. And as you walk up, Grace goes, "Give me half and you can get out of here." All right, I want to cut back to the three of them. The three of you are getting pushed around. It sounds like we have a lot going on. I need one action. And so the obstacle is...
Unless Josh wants it.
Yep, so the obstacle is you're getting pushed back into the sanctorium, right? You want to get out, but you're being pushed back in by all of these guards to say, we need to save Elder Rowan, right? Now, we can have one of you come up with an action, come up with a goal to get you out. We can also have one of you lead a group action. So to lead a group action against an obstacle, you're going to all collectively say, this is the action we're going to take, right? And we are going to all take that action together as a group to accomplish this goal. I will give you a position and effect, just like if one of you were rolling. We're going to take the best die rolled by the three of you. So if you guys all decide you're going to use consort, all three of you would roll consort. All of those die, we're going to take the best of all of them, and that's the result. The problem is whoever's leading this group action, if there's any failures, they're going to take the stress for those failures.
I have 0 stress, very good consort, and I think the story that we need to get us out of here to medical examination because we were attacked and possibly cursed with something and need to get to quarantine because I'm bleeding from the eyes and Stella has that thing happening. So I think we could say that we could try to, I know we're going to discuss goal first, but I'm thinking ahead. We have a pretty good story where we could say that the assailants who broke in put some kind of hex on us and we need to get quarantined, basically, to get treatment.
I agree. And from a consort standpoint, when consort is Josh, I think every time you tap your desk, it
Sorry.
echoes through your metal arm into your mic. I think Consort is building camaraderie and friendship, or trying to at least empathize with people.
Mhm.
And I think maybe you could get these guards to empathize with how difficult it is to do a job. You know, you wouldn't expect them to stand duty on post
Mhm.
when they're struggling. So
I can
yeah.
also appeal to them as fellow members of the same order, because we're all pretending to be brethren here. So, I think all of that probably falls under consort.
And I've got good concert as well. Whatever we can
You
do to do a group action here, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here's what's about to happen. Is it sounds like we're gonna have Lasim lead a group action. All of us are gonna roll consort. We're gonna take the best die of all the ones rolled, and Lasim is gonna take a stress for every failure. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So let's talk position.
Yeah.
I think position is risky here. It's not
Mhm.
desperate. And the reason it's risky is for a couple reasons. One, all of these guards are very frantic right now. The leader of the church is trapped in a potential fire in the sanctorium, right? So their goal is that. Their goal is not to bring you with them. That you're a side effect of them.
Mhm.
Like, we need more people, right? So if this doesn't happen, it's not going to stop them from their goal.
Mhm.
And you're wearing the robes. So I'm going to say it's a risky position with standard effect, which is if you succeed on this roll, the three of you can slip past this and get out the front door.
Okay.
All right, so let's all three roll consort. Let's do it in order, though. So I want to start with Josh.
Okay.
Josh,
Here
you're
we
gonna
go.
roll consort with
Risky standard.
risky standard.
All right.
So far, our best is a 4. Stella, roll your consort. Our best is still a 4.
I'm just never gonna get a good roll.
That's a great roll. You succeed. Yashka.
I don't want to.
There we go. Wait,
Four-
5 is
five,
still
so
4 and 5 are
Yeah,
the same.
still the
4
same.
and 5
Yeah,
in the
that's
same.
right.
So that's great. All right, so no stress for the group action, which is fantastic. Nobody failed. Let's go to the fiction. You are making it clear. We need to get out of here. We don't. And the huge one that was holding Stella, you point out the spider
Mm-hmm.
on the forehead, and he pushes Stella away and he goes, Get them out of here. We'll take care of Rowan. Get all of them out of here. In the violence of pushing Stella away, though, we see Stella get pushed back into a pillar. And so Stella is going to take another level 1 harm, which is cracked skull. Unless Stella wants to resist this.
How much stress you got left, Stella?
I've taken 2. I have 8 left.
So you got 6 left.
6 left. 6 left.
So it's impossible for you to be taken out of the score, right? Because you're going to roll at least a 1 and take 5 stress.
Consequences of going to level 2 harm would be...
So I got to look at the sheets, but on the sheets it tells you. So I think the first 2 is -1 die, then level 2 is minus effect, or it's the other way around.
It's less effect first, then -1 die.
Okay, so yeah, so every effect is downgraded if you take 2 level 1 harm, 2 level 2 harm, you lose a die. And there's way during downtime to work on this harm, right? And to make it better, it can be one of your downtime activities.
So what you gonna do, Hank?
I feel like I need to save the stress in case things go sideways last minute.
Let's talk about what the goal is. What's the goal? The goal is you get out of here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Is there anything after that?
that's what I don't know. I mean, something could happen later on, I guess.
We still need
This
to get
is
you
the-
looked at.
So I'm gonna pull away the GM curtain here. This is a score. The score is we go in, we steal shit, we get out. You get out, it's the end of the score for you.
Okay, I'll take the stress then.
So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and resist that. So you're not gonna take another level 1 harm, and I need you to resist this with. Oh, this is definitely going to be with. I think it's going to be with finesse. And the reason it's with finesse is going to be you being able to deftly be able to put your head in a position where you getting pushed into this pillar does not crack your skull.
Okay.
So
Risky
click on-
standard or
It doesn't matter. Just, yeah, whatever. All we know is the result. All right, so you're going to take 3 stress, right? So it's 6 minus the worst of those 2, so it's a 3. Because you rolled 2 dice, take the worst because you had nothing in. Did you have nothing in finesse?
right? Nothing of finesse.
Yeah. So you roll 2 dice, take the worst. So that's right. So go ahead and mark yourself for 3 stress. You just
Okay.
deftly move your head so it doesn't crack away, and this mob of guards move past all 3 of you, and we see the 3 of you skirt out the front door with the goods. We cut back to the 3rd floor. Leaning up against is Grace. And I need to know, Elizabeth, there is one thing about Grace that makes you very hesitant to get into an altercation with her. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, I have Grace listed as my rival. Was that
Oh, did I read the
intentional
wrong
for her or?
Let me see here. Hold on.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
trying to figure out why. I was like,
No,
is
that's my
Grace
fault.
just someone
That's
I
my
work
fault.
with?
Let's rewind. Craig needs to read his notes better.
You're good. You're good.
Nope. It's a blue coat standing there. It's Darmot. And Darmot says the exact same thing. So Darmot says, give me half, I'll let you go. So here's my new question for you. What is it about Darmot that tells you that if you gave him a coin right now, he would keep his promise? How do you know that to be true?
Because we've done it before.
You've bribed him and paid him off before?
Oh yeah. I have not always been very good at this. I've not always been very prepared, and he has caught me a handful of times. And I've escaped him with a middle finger up a handful of times. We have a very complicated relationship.
So option 1 is we can give Darmot a coin and he'll get out of your way and let you out through that window, or we can do something else if you want to keep that coin.
I don't have marked that I have any coin. I literally don't have any money for to give him. So I'm just gonna look at him. Give you half of what? Do you hear the building in a ruckus? Clearly, I didn't get it. Okay, I don't have any money.
Only reason you would be in this building is if you have already stolen something. You are trying to get away. I have been with you before in this exact situation. So don't play pretend with me. Give me a coin and I'll let you pass. You don't give me a coin and I'm not going to walk you back to the precinct. I'm going to walk you directly to Elder Rowan and let the church take you.
I am going to raise my gun. Listen here, you dumb shit. I don't have any money. That's the whole point of this. I'm not liquid at this moment.
It's all tied up in stocks and bonds.
It's literally everywhere else.
I need a crypto ATM.
It's all in a bar. It's all in other bars in this town.
All right, so
I don't have any money.
We need an action roll, Elizabeth. What is the goal of drawing the gun and telling Darmot all of this?
I am hoping that the drawing of the gun kind of makes him uneasy, that he's kind of fiddling for his gun, and it gives me like a window of opportunity to slip into another room where he is not and get out of a different window.
So the goal is that we're going to delay Darmot enough to allow you to escape. Is that a fair goal?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
It's a great question. I had all these plans to escape.
So you know, that's the noise every Blades player makes when they get that question.
I don't know, man.
So how are you going to do this?
I'm going to pull the gun, and I'm going to shoot it. I've already
No,
reloaded it.
I want an action.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay, so there's a couple different ways we can go here, right?
Uh-huh.
I can go sway, maybe to try and convince him.
Okay.
Like, look, dude, I don't have money, and make him maybe think about it. Like maybe she doesn't have money. I can go survey, and I've said it, and now I'm looking. I pulled the gun. I'm looking for what is most likely if I shoot it right now to make a loud noise and catch him off guard. Or maybe I go finesse, and I am just hoping to shoot as close to him without hitting him as possible.
Which one? What's your gut tell you? Which way is Elizabeth approaching this?
God, survey and finesse are the ones that I'm leaning most towards.
Okay, pick one.
I'm gonna go survey. I think.
So for survey, it is you taking in the entire situation. I need to go out this window. I need Dharma to get the hell out of my way. Where do I shoot this gun that will cause him to move just a little bit out of the way, just enough space for me to slip past him to make it happen? Does that all sound right to you?
Yeah.
All right, position and effect. Position is going to be risky. And I think it's risky and not desperate because he's not supposed to be in here either. Right? So
Yeah.
he's not, his authority ended outside the threshold of the Sanctorium. And he knows that and you know that. So it's only risky. That's your position. Effect is standard. I think that if you succeed at this survey roll, if you find exactly where you're going to be able to shoot this gun to cause this half movement from Dharma to give you just enough space to get through that window and out of here, you'll succeed. So I've got you at risky standard. You have all the tools available to you. If you want to make any adjustments to that, you can go to greater effect and take desperate at no charge. You just exchange one for the other. You can take 2 stress to give yourself an extra die. We can devil's bargain.
What is the devil's bargain?
Gambler over here. This is how you got here.
I swear you've already given up the crew, and now you're diving in for more.
The devil's bargain is that you're going to be so focused on this moment, this half second, you have to take in all this information and execute all of this in a half a second. That when you dive out of this window, whether you succeed or fail, you're going to take a level 2 harm. Broken shoulder. So whether you succeed or fail at the survey roll, you're going to take a level 2 harm.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Of course.
What if I have an ability that helps me leap through buildings?
Talk to me.
I have the Devil's Footsteps, which is a lurk specific skill, and it says when you push yourself, choose one of the following additional benefits. Perform a feat of athletics that verges on the superhuman. So, would this?
So here's
how would that play a role?
That changes everything actually, because what you can now do is take 2 stress. That's pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Take 2 stress, get your extra die, and I will change this from risky to controlled. So jumping out of a 3rd-story window after firing this gun is risky as hell. But because you're so good at this, because of that ability, there's no concern about what happens to you once you get out that window. You falling from 3 stories, are you even kidding me, Craig? Why are we even discussing this? So it becomes a controlled risky if you use this now.
Okay.
But you have to push yourself. You have to take the 2 stress to get the extra die, because that's what the ability says, right? That's the extra benefit.
Right.
Not only get the extra die, but now we're going to go from risky to controlled.
So controlled, standard, No modifier on survey.
No extra die. Stress.
Oh, an extra die. Right.
Right, because you're pushing yourself.
Okay.
And you're taking the 2 stress.
All right. Let's see how it goes. Critical success.
Well, critical would be 2 6s.
Oh,
A 6 is a pure
six.
success,
Pure
which is
success.
phenomenal. I want to go through this whole sequence, and I need your help here, Amy.
Okay.
You've got Darmot leaning there. Give me the coin. This has to be like in bullet time slow motion, right? We see.
Oh yeah, it's Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly. Gun comes out. You're boop boop. We see the little angle drawings, right?
Mhm.
You fire. It goes right past his head, hits the door jamb of the window, causing the pane of the window to fall out. He pulls back to avoid the bullet that wasn't going to hit him instantly, but it was so close he couldn't tell. I set you up. The glass pane is gone. Finish for me.
Elizabeth is just like full sprinting. She shoots and she knows that he is going to lean out of the way. So the second she pulls the trigger, gun is spinning on her finger and sliding back into place, and she's running and jumping. And just in hopes that he's looking at her, she's like shooting the middle finger and like launching out the window to like a perfect tuck and roll.
This
like,
is why I
into
play
the
with these people.
It's amazing.
Like just kind of look out the window. I'll pull another item if I need it, but right now, I'm trying to get out of here.
Oh, that's amazing. The Unspoken just successfully finished their first score.
Woo!
So the next phase is downtime. We'll do that in episode 3, but we do need to do payoff very quick. So let's walk through the payoff. So after a score, the PCs take stock of their income from the operation. A successful score generates both rep and coin. The crew earns 2 rep per score by default. So who wants to open up the crew sheet?
I can do it since I'm showing my screen on the stream.
Perfect.
If I can actually locate it. Let me see.
It's going to be the same place where you find your character sheet.
Yeah, it's this character sheet. It should just be
Actors.
Unspoken.
Unspoken. There we go. Got it up.
All right, let's add 2 rep for a successful score.
Bonk, bonk.
So rep maxing out is how you increase your tier, right? Which is our ultimate goal here, is to become a top tier faction. So let's go right back into payoff a successful score. So we got 2 rep by default. We're going to take +1 rep for a tier higher.
Bonk.
All right, if you keep the operation completely quiet so no one knows about it, you earn 0 rep. That definitely did not happen. All right. The crew earns coin based on the nature of the operation. So you get 2 coin for a minor job. Nope. I think this was a big score. I think this is 8 coin. So I'd like each of you to add 2 coin. Each of you add 2 coin to your character sheets. We'll distribute it evenly.
Okay. How does this work on the... It's like little boxes.
So I don't think that we mark that on the crew. On like
You
the
mark that on
Unspoken
your-
one.
on your
I
character
think that we
sheet.
just mark it on our personal
Okay.
ones.
Got it. Can you only have up to 4 coin? There's like 4 boxes on the
that's-
character sheet.
Yep, and then you guys have
Okay.
you have to work on getting a stash.
Okay, got it. That was my confusion. Just making sure I was understanding the interface right. So we're checking in 2 of those 4 boxes.
All right, so we've got to talk about Crow's Foot, and we've got to talk about you paying a tithe for living in Crow's Foot and being allowed to stay there. You can pay a coin, or you can lower your relationship with the person that runs Crow's Foot. Which do you want to do?
Who runs Crow's Foot?
You're gonna make me look it up, aren't you?
Yep.
If I don't ask at least one question,
Yeah,
that can
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. So it doesn't matter right this second. It will matter.
Sorry,
later.
sorry,
I'll look
sorry.
it up. That's okay. That's okay.
I'll pay a coin, but I also expect there to be a little something else coming back my way in the relationship.
Done. I like that. So you pay off the boss. All right, let's talk about heat. So opening up the crew sheet again. Heat is how much attention is the Unspoken gathering, right? So you get 0 heat if everything was smooth and quiet with low exposure. That's definitely not what happened. You get 2 heat if it was contained with standard exposure. I don't think that's what happened here.
Yeah,
You get-
what do we get? We burnt down the sanctuary.
Yeah, I think it's 4 heat, which is loud and chaotic and high exposure. So go ahead and mark 4 heat.
Bunk,
the
bunk, bunk,
Unspoken.
bunk.
And do we want to go ahead and just change our crew name, or
The recently spoken.
quickly there?
All
It can
right.
still be unspoken
artist's
if we
fem-
burn your buildings down after we steal your shit.
The artist formerly known as the Unspoken.
So now let's talk about entanglements. No score ever goes perfect. There's always some sort of entanglement as a result of the score. And where we decide we're going to roll this is dependent on the amount of heat that we have. So the buckets are 0 to 3 heat, 4 or 5 heat, or 6+ heat. Where are we? At 4?
We're at 4.
Who's going to roll my D6?
Ames.
Yeah, you're anything connected with heat is you now.
Where do I roll it?
Oh, noisy one.
Use the little D6 icon at the very bottom.
Off
Just a straight D6.
on the very bottom.
Yeah, if you look at your
Below the chat.
Oh, on the
Just a
chat.
default
Sorry, I didn't have
D6.
chat open. No, just 1 D6. I know how it's a computer, I promise. 4.
4. So on heat
Better
4,
than half the rolls.
the entanglement is reprisals or unquiet dead. I will decide which of those 2 are in session 3. But that's your entanglement. You guys will be able to deal with that entanglement.
Okay.
All right. When we get back for session 3, we're going to go into downtime activities, which is another thing I love about Blades, which is what does this crew do between scores?
Right.
They've got a lot to deal with. They've got heat that they don't want. Some of these characters have some stress that they like to get rid of. Some of these characters might have some long-term projects they want to work on to maybe make things a little bit better. We even have characters that have harm, and they probably want to start working on getting that harm healed.
Oh, yeah. Especially Stella.
All right.
I'm just
before we
crying
wrap up,
blood. I'm fine.
Josh, okay if we do Stars and Wishes?
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's start with you, Hank. So Stars and Wishes. Stars is 1 or more moments that really stood out for you, that just made this session, that was your favorite parts of the session. What are your stars?
Is it across the board or personal? Remind me.
It can be whatever it is, whatever stood out. So it might be another player stood out, a moment stood out, but something that just made it all click for you.
The absolute tag team between Adam and Amy right there in front of the vault in the silence bubble with the 2 pistols. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And we all were there. Like, we saw that dance as they started to piece it together. I love that. All right, wishes. What are you wishing for as a player? Not as a character. As a player, what are you wishing for in the next coming sessions?
That's a wonderful question.
Is there something you want more of? Is there something that hasn't happened you'd like to see?
I would love to have a moment to me, I feel like the role that I am filling, and this is just an observation, the role that I am filling has not really taken full scope yet. I mean, I had a moment there and the dice said no, which is the nature of dice games. Not mad about it. But I would love to see just the opportunity of...
To be a cutter.
Yeah, to be a cutter. That's a great way to word it. To be a cutter.
All right. So your wish is more cutter, which I love.
Because currently I feel like I blew the sneaking for everybody to get in trouble. That's what it felt like a little bit to me.
All right. How about for you, Amy? Let's go to your stars.
Oh man, stars. I think I maybe got 2. I think that it was mine and Adam's thing, just like him having the second pistol and like us like not talking about that at all. You know, it just is this thing that flowed and it was just so pretty.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It really was.
And the
She
second
threw
one
her
was
dress off.
Oh.
My
were
cloak
chugging
just
a
goes
potion,
flying.
pop, throw, catch, wrap around, shoot.
So cool. And then the second one was just getting to use that ability. When I selected it, when I was thinking about it before we started, I was like, oh man, I really hope I get the opportunity to do this. That's why I was like, I can be a distraction. Maybe I can do this. And so getting to do it was so cool.
Awesome. What are you wishing for?
I'm having so much fun. It's hard to pick something to wish for. Maybe in the next session, we've got a lot of accumulated stress. So maybe just like an opportunity to really see how those vices help us, like maybe relieve stress and how we kind of calm down after a score.
Yeah, the downtime activities, it's on page 153 of the book. It's a really neat mechanic in the game, and I like downtime activities that take a whole session. You can make downtime activities almost like a board game and make it just boom, 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 and go right to the next score. I think there's so much gold from a role-playing perspective in the downtime activities. Don't be surprised if we don't start the next score in session 3. Don't be surprised if we end up eating up the entire session with downtime and loving it.
I love going hat shopping. You can ask Josh.
All right, Josh.
We've missed a few golden opportunities for big plot hooks because we wanted to go hat shopping in the past.
Absolutely love it. Josh, stars and wishes.
Yeah. I like the scene where we stumbled into the ritual in progress and got a nice little pants down view of one of the big bads doing something big and bad. I thought that was cool. And my character wish is always going to be to work some kind of dramatic, strange magic. I think it would be cool to... I haven't fleshed out my ritual magic special ability yet, but I think it would be cool to try to reverse engineer what was going on in that room with my knowledge of ritual magic and follow up on it a bit.
So that's a great use of, when you look at your downtime activities between now and the next session, look at long-term project and how those work, because you can do unbelievable stuff with a long-term project, and that's a beautiful seed for a very powerful long-term project. So
I want to grab onto it and follow up on it.
Love it. Last but not least, Adam, stars and wishes.
Stars, I think I've seen the payoff of kind of the work I did into deciding which character class I wanted to play. Like, when I read through Spider, I thought, I like this, but I don't know if I'm smart enough to make it work. And the great thing about it is that you don't have to be smart enough to make it work. The class kind of plays itself. So, like, in one heist, I used 4 out of 5 items that are special to a spider. I used both charges on my ability. We had an amazing flashback that you introduced spiderlings for me. I even made a note in there where I'm like, spiderling number 1 is Rila Honda. And, like, she's going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So the star is just like, I feel like I was able to play this class to its extent. So that's
a big deal
for me.
That's cool. That's a big deal. How about wishes?
Wishes, it's and we'll see this in session 3, more role playing. I'm here for the role playing. I love just playing with everyone else, and my wish is that we can find a way for our vices to work together, rather than the session being like, Amy goes and does her vice, Hank doesn't do his vice, Josh does his vice, and it's like everyone just has like 45 minutes of them. I want us to find a way that we all work it together so that we have fun role playing together.
Adam, is your vice also luxury?
I think it is. I think we said we were going to be shopping girls together, but I don't remember.
I think a bunch of us picked luxury. There might be 3 of us with the same vice.
Oh my goodness, this could be.
Oh, it is.
Because my backstory was that I was like raised by nobles far, far away and studied with them or something. So I miss the luxurious homeland that I came from. I may have a different definition of luxury than you guys, but
treat yourself.
But I hope they can all become friends here, because I don't feel like they're friends right now. That's fine.
You'd like to see, so a wish sounds like to me ultimately is you want a little bit more of a tighter crew, a more bonding character.
Yeah, I want to get them closer to the center of the web so I can eat them first.
Beautiful. So before we close out, and I'll hand it back to you, Josh, I just want to remind everybody who's watching right now, if you've not been watching these people play Forbidden Lands, you are cheating yourself. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you go check out the Forbidden Lands play. It's phenomenal. It's a great game, and they are working that game and doing great stuff with it.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming and DMing for us. This was fun.
It was my pleasure.
We'll definitely keep this going. Just other couple announcements before we wrap. Our next Forbidden Lands is going to be a week from Monday, so that'll be on December the 11th, I believe. I'm also doing an on-stream game jam. I'm halfway through it right now, making a video game prototype. So,
if you aren't tuning into his game jams, chat is blowing up. It's fun. We're all having fun watching Josh build this game, and he's bringing us all into it. So tune in, just make fun of him with us, and see this amazing thing that he's creating, because it is incredible to see what he can do in 40 hours.
That's cool.
So, yep, many more fun things to come. And Ars Magica is still on the horizon. I bumped it back a bit because life got crazy busy. But it is still coming in probably about 2 or 3 months. So
That's a game. You guys are going to play Ars Magica?
yeah, I've run it before, and 2 of the players I played it with before are coming back, and we'll have one. Or no, it'll be 3 returning players that have played it before, and 1
That's
completely new
awesome.
player who owns the books and has wanted to play for a long time. So
Oh, that's great.
it's gonna be sweet.
It's an amazing game.
And
It's
we're
an
starting a
amazing-
fresh campaign, but we are going to pull in Easter eggs and a couple of bits from our previous one, and just start a whole
Isn't
new.
it 3 couples that are playing it too?
It's going to be Jessica, Bill, Sean, and Killian.
Oh, that one. You've got another one cooking.
I'm introducing a bunch of people to D&D this weekend, but that's an in-person thing. We're doing a noob D&D night for the +1s that never get to play RPGs with us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We're got tons of things cooking. So
See you soon.
Join our Discord.